Okay. All right, let me clear my screen. Oh, definitely not here.
Oh my goodness, I did it.
What was that?
One day.
Hey, what's up? What happened?
Oh my God, I did it.
Oh, hey, awesome. All right, more Linux power to you. All right, so here we go. So you guys should know. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things, and then we're going to start creating, okay? So as we know, so Linux is a multi-user operating system. So there should be ways for you to prevent some people from accessing some files or some directories, right? So in comes the security mode of the file, and those are represented by 9 characters. So you guys have seen this before. This is the long form for listing, and here are the security mode for this file, for this directory, for this file, right? So the first letter tells you whether it's a file or a directory. D, directory, and these are files, okay? So let me show you first. There we go. All right, so you're gonna have 9 characters that help you with the security permissions, the security permission of your file or directory. The very first one is going to be for the user, the file owner. So it's always going to be R, W, and X in this order. So R stands for read, write, execute. So obviously execute is if it's a program, right? Then the next group of letters is going to be for the group. So anybody that's in that group. So for yourselves, maybe I've put 5 people in that specific group. So they will have specific permission that for this file, for example, right? And then I have everybody else that is neither the file owner nor anybody in that group. So that one, especially on the security standpoint, that's something you're going to really care about, right? So going back to, sorry, I like to have nothing in the background. There we go. So in this case, right, Josiah is the owner of the April report, right? He is allowed to write and read this text, this file, right? Now the sales team, everybody that's in this group, is only allowed to read. They're not allowed to write. They're not allowed to execute. So if you see a dash, it means that that permission has been revoked. So for the sales team, revoked, right? And it's not well because it is not a program. The last one is everybody else that is not Josiah and that is not on that sales team, right? They're only allowed to read that April report. So if we look down here, as you can see, Ed May created a file and everybody's allowed to read and write from it, right? From this file. And I'll talk about these a little later because things change a little bit with the X as to why there's an X there. So let's start with the change mode. So we are going to change some of these permissions at will, okay? I'm gonna go into the challenge 3. You guys can stay here. It's just I don't want to change what I got here, okay? I think it's this one. Oh, no, that's not what I want. All right, hold on. I'm gonna make another one. Test 3. All right. No, I'm in there already. Okay, all right, perfect. All right, so what we're going to do, we are going to create, let's create maybe 3. Let's just create 2 files for now. We'll add a third one after. I'll take it back. Let's create 3 files. Do you guys remember how to create 3 files really quickly? Anybody?
Touch. And then just file. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I like that. And then I didn't teach you guys this, but that's how I want it to be. With that extension, I can just do .txt. Okay, let's see if this worked out. Nice, it worked out. So I'm going to do ls space -l, and here we go. Right, I'm the one who created it, and by default, I'm also part of this group. So first of all, I'm going to clear this because there's a lot of garbage on my screen. All right, so you guys should all have this right now, right? Save for the names. You should have created 3 files just standing right there. Okay. So because I am the owner, I have read and write permissions, correct? Now group is only read, but since I am the owner of this file, this is what I'm allowed to do. I'm allowed to read and write from it. Is everybody good? I'll take the silence as a yes. So I'm gonna skip here and then I'll come back to this because I kind of want you guys to change and for it to make sense. So when I tell you change the group permission for the sales team, I want it to make sense. So I'm gonna jump here for a second and then I'll go back to it, okay? So I'm going to change the user. So I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna change the user of a file name to May. So you guys should all have May here. So I'm gonna change file1.txt to the user being May. So how do I do that? So the change owner has to be with sudo. Change owner, and I'm gonna say May and file1.txt. Let's see if it works. So you guys, because I've been doing sudo quite a bit, it doesn't ask me, but you guys, it should ask you for the password, I think. There you go. May is now the owner of file1.txt. So May has been writing this file actually for the sales team, and they need to have access to it. So I'm going to change this group right here to the sales team. Okay, so I'm going to use this right here, and I'm going to explain why there's a colon in the front. So we're going to do sudo change owner 2 dots sales file1.txt. Oops. Oh. All right. Let's see if that worked out. There we go. Everything has changed, right? So the reason why you see those 2 dots in the front of it is because there's a syntax where you could do it right user and group together at the same time by separating it with the colon. So we're going to go to file2.txt and we're going to change this to Josiah and marketing, right? So Josiah is going to be the owner of this file, and marketing is going to be the group. So we're going to use this right here. Ready? So we're going to do sudo first. Oops, not sudo. Change owner, Josiah, marketing, right? And I'm going to put the name of that file, file2.txt. Let's see if it works. There you go. Much faster. So as you see, if I want to change both, I can just use this quick form. If I just want to do groups, I just do 2 dots sales. Because what's going to happen if you forget this is going to make it the user. Right? That would be the user without 2 dots, but with 2 dots, it's that second part. So it's just a group.
Hold on 1 second.
I'll pause.
Mine say invalid.
Yours says, what part is invalid?
When I've tried to do like the Josiah one, it's the invalid.
How did you spell Josiah?
Joisiah.
So did you spell it exactly the same way? When I'm saying whenever you created the user, is it the same spelling?
Oh, wait, I have to create a user one also?
Yeah, you had to create May and Josiah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Meredith, what was your question? Meredith? So I'll reiterate what I did, right? So the first thing I did, I created 3 files, right? You can either create them by just doing touch file1.txt, touch file2.txt, touch file3.txt, but there's a faster way that we've learned how to create 3 files right away. The next thing I did, so I created already May and Josiah. I already created them before this, and I made you guys create sales and marketing for the groups, right? So what I need to do now is what I'm doing right now, I'm just playing around changing user and groups for each of these files. So as you can see, I was the user and the group for all 3 of these files. Now what I'm doing, I'm changing the user for file 1 by doing sudo, because you have to have higher privileges to change the owner of a file. Change owner is a command. I put the name of the user, right, which is May, and I put the name of the file, which is file1.txt. So I like to double check my work. So ls-l, and I can see that May is now the user of file 1. Now the next thing I did is I decided May needs to write so I want the sales team to have access to file1.txt, right? So what I did is I did sudo, once again, you need higher privileges, change owner, 2 sales, right? Because that's how you pick the group. You have to put the 2 dots in the front. If you don't, you're doing the user command, right? You're adding to the user. So, sorry, where was I? Yeah, sudo change owner, 2 sales, space, and the name of the file, which is file1.txt. So if I check my work again, just to check that it did work, now May and the sales team have permissions for this file. So now I decided that file 2, which is again me and me again, right? I want Josiah and the marketing team to have access to this file. So what did I do? I use this command right here, which means that I can add both the user and the group. I can change the permission, the people who can access this file, by doing user, 2 dots, and group, right? So I used Josiah and marketing for file2.txt.
It keeps saying invalid because the only one that I'm able to change the user is May.
And you created Josiah?
I cannot create one. It keeps saying invalid user.
And you did sudo add user. So pick somebody else. Pick, I don't know, Una.
I also put your name and it keeps saying invalid user.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pause this. Pause the recording. How do I do that? All right, so where was I? Okay, so for this one, I use the 3rd command, right? Because I really wanted to make it just, hold on a second. I think, yeah, no, I'm recording, sorry. Okay, so I wanted to make Josiah and the marketing team, I wanted them to have permission for file2.txt, okay? So the very last one, so I talked about this one, and this one. So I'm gonna do, so maybe I'm gonna add like a 3rd file in just a minute. Okay, so let's see. So this one is to change from maybe Josiah and marketing to maybe Una and sales. If I wanted to, I could use this one. So you would put the old user and the old group, and you're gonna give it the user you want and the group you want, okay? So instead of Josiah and marketing, we're gonna do Una and sales for file 2. So let's do it. So first sudo change owner dot from equals. I'm following this command here, guys, okay? So old user was Josiah, 2 dots. Old group was marketing. Then I'm gonna make it Una and sales, right? Sorry, that's probably not helpful. And then I'm gonna put the file name so it knows what I'm talking about. So I'm talking about file2.txt.
When you say
Okay?
Una, for us, we should put like the root or wherever our like personal.
Yeah,
computer.
yours. So this would be Zakia or whatever you made this part, right? The user. So I'm gonna do ls-l, and here you go, look at that, Una sales, okay? So that was a quick way to change both the user from something to something else. All right, so now I want the third one to be both May and sales for file 3. So I've done this one. So I'm gonna reiterate, I changed Josiah and marketing to Una and sales, which is off the page, sorry, to Una and sales, right? So remember it was Josiah marketing and now it's Una sales by using this this equation right there, or the syntax, I should say, not equation. That's not an equation, this is a math. Okay, so the next thing I wanna do, so obviously I'm just using 3 as reference, but you could have so many, right? I want to just make this file right here, the permission, May and sales, match for file 3, right? So file 1 and file 3, I want them to have the same user and group, right? So all I have to do, sudo again, chown, dash dash. Don't forget those 2 dashes. I used to do just 1 and can figure out what was wrong with my, what I inputted, equals. So the old file, so is gonna be file 1.txt and the new file. So file 3.txt. File 1 match. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I told you the truth. There we go. So remember it was Una and Una. I asked, go ahead and reference file 1, match it to file 3, right? No, I'm sorry. Pick file 1 and I want it copied into file 3, right? So May sales has now changed. Now it's May sales, just like file 1. How are we doing? Are we following? Do we have any questions? Are we having, okay, I got a thumbs up here. I like that, thank you. Any other thumbs up? All right. So I'm gonna go to the next one. So May and Una just got fired and I'm going to change the user, the owner of file 1 till 3 to Josiah. So in comes the next one. So sudo chown -r. We're gonna put Josiah here. Josiah start. Recursive, and this means all. So I'm gonna change the owner for everything in here. So it wouldn't work even if I had a directory to Josiah. I want all of them to be Josiah. There you go. Now they're all Josiah. So another thing that you could do, you could use the exact, so I think something that's kind of powerful, and I told you guys before, whenever you have Linux, play around, because you never know what else you got in there. I'm gonna try this. And hopefully I'm not lying to you. So the sales team doesn't need this, this file anymore. Let's see if this works. I'm pretty sure I made it work last time. Ah, there we go. Now it's all the marketing team. So as you can see, this one, I changed the user. And I told you, if you do the 2 dots, now we're dealing with a group. So I can change in the whole directory, the ownership, right? Or the permission rights. So now the marketing has permission over these files, right? It used to be sales and even used to be Una and May, but now it's all Josiah, and now it's all marketing because I changed it. All right, so I did this one, and I did this one. Okay, now does anybody remember what the V is for? I think we vaguely talked about it. I don't remember if I talked to, I think last week we talked about it. The V is actually stands for verbose. So now of course I only have two things. I only have three, but I'm going to change file 1 back to Una. But this time I want the terminal to tell me exactly what's going on, right? I want to be kept in the loop. So -v Una file1.txt. Look at that. Change ownership of file1.txt from Josiah to Una. So it told me. So like I told you before, play around. Oops, so again, whenever I look at commands, I like to see what else works out there. So this one, I can start adding options together. Remember, R is recursive, and sorry, that's not the whole command. So what I did, I took this command and I added the V. So pretty much is going to, remember what this one does? It changes all the users within a directory, but now I want to make sure that I'm being told what's going on. The worst thing that can happen is the terminal screaming at you that that's just not working out for it, right? And anyways, we're in a VM. Remember what I told you? Just shut it off if it doesn't work. There we go. So the ownership has changed from Una to May, from Josiah to May, and from Josiah to May again. So if I do ls-l, oh, look at that. Now they're all May. Okay? So just for, let's see. Let's change one of these files because it's everywhere is May, and I want to have a little bit of diversity. Let's do Josiah marketing file 2.txt. Yeah. Oh, that should have been, okay. Let's do sales, right? Let's do sales for that one so I can actually see what's going on. Sales. Cool. Now there's a little bit of difference here, right? And maybe for file 3, we'll make it Una. So sudo chown Una file 3.txt. There we go. All right, a little bit of diversity here. I like that better. All right, so now we're gonna go back up here to these commands. I'm gonna make some space here because these two I'll talk about it a little bit later. So what I can do, so remember I told you that these right here, so starting after this tick is, or this dash, however you wanna call this, is the permission. So 1, 2, and 3, that means May is allowed to read and write file 1. The marketing team can only read it, and anybody else can just read it, which is good, right? You don't wanna give them all, you don't want to give others all the power, right? Same thing with Josiah, read and write. Sales can just read. Everybody else just can read, which is great. We like it that way. So U is going to be the first 3. That's the user. That's the owner of the file, not to be confused with that O. G is the group, 1, 2, 3. And O is others, 1, 2, 3, right? So I want, so we're gonna start playing around with giving and remove and giving and taking away permissions. So I want the marketing team to now be able to write to that file. Okay. So what I can do chmod, so change mode, and I'm gonna say group. And I'm gonna say go ahead and add writing to it. Right. So I'm just adding that letter, add writing, And I've got to explain which one I'm giving it to, right? Specify, I should say. I should specify. Oop. Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry. So if you want to change permission, only high privilege can change permission. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see if that works out. Oh, there we go. Now the marketing team has writing permission. So just for giggles, I'm going to remove the owner's right to write to their own file. So Una, we're going to remove Una's right to write. So we're going to do sudo change mode, and we're going to say so the user minus w, right? And which one am I talking about? I'm talking about file3.txt. There you go. Now everybody can just read. Nothing else.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you change the user or the group now, does that affect, do the same rewrite privileges go to the same user that you had before? Does that make sense?
Say that one more time. I didn't understand the question. What?
So you added a write privilege to May marketing for file 1.
Mm-hmm.
But since you never, like, you didn't specify that you were adding it to this like specific user, you added to the file. If you change the username to Josiah, will Josiah now have rewrite on file 1?
Correct. Yes. Yes, they would. So the U is specified only for the user. Now the users, well, okay, I'm sorry. You're talking about May up here, right? Or are you talking about Una?
I was talking about May.
May. Yeah. Okay. So I gave May. So yeah. So May is allowed to read and write, and the marketing team is allowed to read and write. If I'm changing this to Josiah, now Josiah will be able to read and write, and May will be part of the others. It will only be allowed to read.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So now, if I did go into VI right now, and I think so if I went into VI to try and do something with the file 3, it would tell me, oh, sorry, read only. You can't save anything that you're about to write. It will block me from writing and saving anything. Okay. So I'm going to give everyone, so Una, the group, marketing, and others, the right to write into this file 3. So sudo change mode, and I'm going to say user group others plus write. So I picked all of them at the same time plus write. Okay. File 3.txt. Click enter. Let's see the damage. Look at that. Everyone now is allowed to read and write. There is another one, which is A, which stands for all, but for purposes right now, we're just going to stick to U, G, and O, okay? All right, so now, let's see. So we've removed. Okay, so let's say we're going to start assigning differently, right? I'm going to remove the right for everything so I can kind of, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to remove read and write from the group and the others, okay? So sudo chown, and so group others minus RW. Yeah, so file 3.txt. Uh-oh, what did I do?
You're changing the owner?
No, I'm changing others. What happened? I think.
Because it's a ch owner.
What am I doing? Okay, let's do it one at a time. Let's see what's going on here. No, I think it doesn't like my R and W. Let's start with W first. Let's see if I let's do W first. Let's see. Invalid user.
But are we doing change chmod, not chmod?
Exactly what happened.
Oh my God. Thank you. I'm just checking if you guys are paying attention. Of course I knew that. All right. chmod. Kidding. Thank you for letting me know. All right. rw, okay, file3.txt. Thank you so much, guys. There we go. All right. Whew. All right. So right now, this is a pretty private file. Only a private file, right? Only I can read and write. Okay. So I'm going to give, and obviously that wouldn't really make sense, right? I'm going to give the marketing. That's just for the purpose of practicing, right? I'm going to give the marketing writing permissions, and I'm going to give others reading permissions, right? I am trying to get you guys to use the comma here. So sudo chmod. I'm going to keep on doing this. And I'm going to say group is allowed to write. And I'm going to say others are allowed to read. Okay, let's see, file3.txt. Invalid mode. Wow, what am I doing wrong again this time, guys? Group, invalid mode, GW. Okay, all right, let's keep it friendly here and let's just do read separately. Will it allow me to? What is going on? Yes, am I doing it wrong again?
Can you make your screen bigger? I think it's really hard to see. Like,
what do you mean?
Can anywhere you make it bigger?
Are you, do you see our faces on the side?
Nope. It's full screen. I don't know if everybody feel the same, but.
Are you guys having a hard time seeing my stuff? Zoom in. How are you doing, guys? Is it better? Why aren't you working? Is it better, May? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not sure what is going on with me, my mode right now. I know you guys are seeing this from a UGO. Okay, I didn't have this issue before. Let's see. I know it's chmod plus read, so I shouldn't have this problem. Okay, hold on. Let's just do, for now, read and see what happens when I do this. Maybe I'm not entering the right command at the same time. Hold on. Okay. And then let's do O.
TXT for the first one, I think.
Is that why? Am I missing my C?
You put file 3, not
file3.txt. Okay, all right, let's do that again.
I think you put it all, but you can't see it because you zoomed in, maybe.
Maybe. Okay, hold on. Let me remove them and then let me try again. Okay, if it doesn't work, we'll move on and I'll try to figure out what is happening. So right now, everything should be removed. ls space -l. So G plus, so G, what is it? U, G, and O. I'm pretty sure I'm in the right order because you guys should always have the right order. U, G, and O. So G, let's see. R. And let's see, U plus W. File3.txt.
Hold on, you put smart.
Oh man. All right, cool. Let's see. Nope. All right. We're going to leave this alone because I don't know what. Forget it. All right. Don't do that. Don't put a comma in the middle. Just do it one at a time for now until I figure out what's going on. I'm pretty sure I did it before, but hey, sometimes things happen. All right. We're going to leave this alone. I'll be right back to see what's going on with this one. All right. So let me see. ls space -l. Okay, so let's say now that I want to copy maybe my my permission to May's file right here. I only want May to have access to it for now. I don't want the marketing team to get their hands on it, right? I'm going to copy this right here. -- reference equals, and then the reference file to the new file, okay? So let me move this. All right, let's try it. Okay. Reference. Nope. Equal. And then let's see. Which one I said was copying? File3.txt. space file1.txt. Okay. There we go. Looks exactly the same. Phew. All right. Okay, I'm gonna skip to this really quickly and I'll come back to this because this is a little, a bit more complicated. All right, so when it comes to read, write, and, read, write, and execute. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do something, well, I call it fun, but most people wouldn't say that. Let's create something else. Let's call it file4. So you don't always have to do an extension. And I know I have a hard time wrapping my head around why can I put an extension, but you don't need to always have an extension. We are going to turn file4 into a executable. Okay. So let's create one. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Touch file4. Go. What would you do to create an executable?
Plus X on the user.
True.
As like executable.
Yeah. X. We did this last time. Actually, we didn't even need to do sudo. That's interesting. All right, file4. Do you guys remember we did this? Now it's nicer to kind of have control over things. So here you go. Plus X file4. Let's see. And here we go. Now even the group and others can actually get this to execute, right? If I remove this from the others and this from the group, only I can execute this file. Which means that, remember that day 1 practice? That means you guys can actually open it if you really wanted to by doing cat and then the name of that executable, and you'll be able to see exactly what made it an executable. Extra points for the person who tells me. Just kidding, the points don't matter. All right, so the thing about, we're gonna do the directory one. So let's create a directory. You guys remember how to create a directory?
mkdir.
mkdir, yes. We're gonna call it, I don't know, new directory. Let's see if that worked out. Awesome. All right, so things are a little bit different with directories. As you can see, it automatically got X's. And the reason why is with directories, you want X's because it's the one thing that is going to give you permission to do. So it's not just an X means that the files, the directory is accessible. You always want an X. Without an X, you cannot list the directory, and you cannot create, delete, or write files to the directory. So it would be RNX, WNX, or just X. Never just R or just W or that's it, or R and W, because you would not be able to access the directory itself. So that's the difference with directory versus the files.
Wait, sorry, I didn't get that.
So do you remember the X when it comes to files is because it's a program. You want it to execute, right? However, when it comes to directories, if I remove the X's, I can no longer list, create, write, read, or access the directory. So an X has to be there. And as you can see, I just created this directory and it already came with the X's so that I can actually access this directory. Let's see, we can try and remove it. Let's see, ugo -x new directory. All right, let's try to access it. You see that? It's like, nope, can't do anything with this. You can't access it, and even if I escalate the permission, it's going to just tell me, yeah, I don't know what this is. This isn't working out for us. Okay? So
You can only execute a file, but not choose not to execute a file, but not a directory.
that's correct. The X is not so much execute as it is access.
Access. Okay.
Right. So without it, so even if I did, let's see, if I just did R, no, if I did W and I didn't put the X, I would not even be able to delete a file. So without that X, you just really can't do anything with that directory. We got UGNO, yeah, plus X in this new directory. All right, I'm gonna remove file 4, okay? It's making me a little nervous. Okay. Okay, I'll come back to this one. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about something called octal notations. So I'm gonna bring you guys back to binaries. I remember how much you'd love that. So let's go back to binaries. So so whenever I do something, I'm not a big fan of memorization. And the reason why is memorization goes a certain, like, as far as it goes, right? In a test, you might forget something. So I like to know exactly how things work. That way, if my memorization I can just go back to the beginning, the root of everything, okay? So as you see, remember, the 2 things you need to remember is always going to be user, group, others, and it's always going to be R, W, X. Those letters never get jumbled. So back to binaries. That is a little small. Is everybody okay with this? I wouldn't know how to make it bigger, really. So if you guys remember, maybe I can pull my, hold on, my document. If you guys remember, we had, how many ticks did we have? 1, 2, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You guys remember that? And under it, we had 1, 2, and we had 4, and so on and so forth. You guys remember that? So now I'm only worried about 3 bits. 1, 2, 3. So I don't care so much about the stuff coming before it. Oh my God. I don't care so much about the stuff coming after. I'm just worried about the first 3 bits. Okay? So if I see a letter, it's going to count. So I see an R, I see a W, and I see an X. So 4 plus 2 plus 1 is 7. This would equate 7. So for the user, the value would be 7. If I don't see anything, it doesn't count, right? So I see an R and I see a W. So R, W. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So this user right here, the number here would be 6. Okay? And 6 again. So, and if I didn't see anything, it would be 0, 0, 0. So that would just equal 0. Okay? The other way you can remember, if you prefer memorization, I know some people prefer memorization, I'm not a fan of it, right? You could just remember that R always equals 4, W always equals 2, and X always equal 1. So you just know that this equals 7. So if I told you it was 7 across the board, it means that user, group, and others have all kinds of permissions, right? They can read, write, and they can execute whatever it is. Is it a directory? They can access, write, read, everything, right? If it's a file, they also can execute this program, read it, write it, whatever they want. Okay? So you can either remember the binary, which I don't think people are a fan of, right? This is octal, binary, and the mode, right? As I told you, R to 1, X is a 1, so you know it's 5. Or you can just remember what it does. Again, I'm not a fan, right? I think if you know exactly where the position is, you know exactly what it stands for, you're good. And you already know this RWX. If it's 6, you already know it's 4 and 2. If it's 5, you know it's 4 and 1, right? If you know the letters, you know the meaning. How are we doing so far?
Good.
Awesome, cool. You guys make me nervous when you're silent. I'm not sure if you guys are in trouble or if you need help. All right. So how does this translate to permissions and adding things? So I don't know why now I need to do sudo. So I was able to do change mode without sudo. So I don't know what that was what that was about. All right, so let's try with chmod. So here's what I want to do. I just want Una. Actually, let's change it. I just want May and the marketing team to be able to read, write, and let's just do read and write file1 txt. I'm going to give you some time to figure out what would be the 3 digits that would come up here. Because what's going to happen, instead of O plus X or G minus X, we're going to put for the user, for the group, and for the owner. Okay? I will give you a little bit of time. So I want May and marketing to be able to read and write. So I would have either this or, I don't know, you guys memorized it, so let me know. Just two quick minutes. If you still don't get it, that's okay. That's fine.
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
I want to change the mode, the permission mode of this file. What time is it? Yeah. The permission mode of this file so that both May and the marketing group can both read and write.
Okay. But I cannot, like, all the key that I put in, it just keeps saying invalid. I cannot try anything now.
Right. You had issues since the beginning, right?
Yeah, like.
Okay. I will take a look at your computer in just a little bit. We're almost done. It's 3:15. I'm going to take another 5 minutes to figure this, to teach you guys this, and then I'll go to your computer to see what's going on, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I said read and write. So remember, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So I want read and write, nothing, read and write, and nothing, right? All right. So I want, so what comes first? User, group, or own, or others come first?
User.
Right. So I want the user to read and write, then nothing else. Oops, not this one. And then what comes next?
Group.
Group. So I want the group to be able to read and write and nothing else. So what about the others? Did I say I want anything? I want them to do anything?
No.
Nope. So 1, 2, 3. I did it on purpose, so else they would all be stuck to each other and you wouldn't be able to see, right? So R equals to what?
4.
4. And W equals to what?
2.
Yeah, so that's 6. So 6 for the user. For the group, 4 plus 2 is 6. And for the others, it's a 0. Okay? Hopefully this, there we go. All right. So sometimes it yells at me to sudo, and other times it's fine. All right, let's see if it works. There we go. Look at this. Now it has been changed. So this is to show you that you can use octal notations instead of using that U plus blah, 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 okay? Let's change Josiah. I want Josiah to be able to, actually, yeah, to be able to, I want this to be an executable file. Now, of course, it shouldn't be .txt, but yeah, let's remember I told you to delete it. let's create another one, file 4. And let's change the group back to sales for file 4, okay? So let's change it. Yep. What am I doing? Sales. File 4. Okay. Nice. All right. So I just want, actually, you know what? I want both the group, so sales and Una, to have that executable going for them. I want them to read, write, and be able to execute, both the user and the group. How would I change file 4?
Sudo.
7.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So you guys want to go here? All right, let's go. Sudo. Yeah.
Chmod.
Yes. And we got what?
7.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you wanted the last one to be.
Let's just give them. Let's give them nothing. Let's remove all capabilities.
0.
Oh, wait, 0. Nice. Nice. Good. Awesome. That's really cool. So it is quite simple on the surface, but maybe some of you need to kind of like dig in a little bit. Like I do usually, I'm going to stop the recording and put it in the day 3 content. And I will add also this cheat sheet. I'm going to see what was going on with this because I'm pretty sure I tried it and I had no issues, but I don't know what happened this time around, okay? Right. By the way, you could do this also for directory, as long as instead of file, you have the directory name. So if this was a secret directory, and I only want, again, Una. So I need to change this, but I only want Una to have, let's say this says marketing. I would just do chmod 700 and then new directory. Does that make sense? There you go. So only I can access and do everything I want to this directory. Nobody else can. Not May, not the sales team, not the marketing team. No one but me. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop the recording.